Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever wondered about future-proof leadership? Well, me neither, but today's the day. So you're about to have a great day with Nick, Ryan, and Francis Piche. It's time to wake up the Giants.
That actually rhymed.
Wow, that intro! I'm awakened just with the intro.
Yeah, that's what we do. We awaken the giant, and sometimes we have to get creative and go a little Dr. Seuss on people.
Well, we're eating moose, man, in a caboose. Yeah, and
right.
if there's a war, we'll find a truce.
Nick
I love you guys. I can
days.
see, I can already acknowledge something from you guys, like from the first time production that we had like years ago. Now I feel like, oh my, wow, this is like something's happening. Like all these moves. What's the next step? Like, I mean, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, you never know on this show. But yeah.
Now I just want to row, dude, with a bow. And take it
Maybe
real
I'll
slow.
just go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my God, we're having
Good
fun.
morning,
This is
Giants.
good.
Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I'm Ryan Morris. That's the wrong one. I wrote in a book called A Journey of Riches. It's all about kindness. You can find it on Amazon. This bad boy is why we're all here. This is The Giants and the Smalls, written by Nicholas T. Smith. And you can also find that on Amazon. But that's why we're here, is because of this little book did giant things and created a giant community. And that's actually how we found our friend Francis, we're going to be talking to today, about leadership and a whole bunch of other things. And so we're excited to have him on the show. Nick will introduce him here in a minute, but we got a little bit of housekeeping. We've got our SG group is starting up soon. Nick, will you tell us all about the SG group?
Yeah, let me what's funny is I'm like, oh yeah, I do have to introduce Francis. I didn't have his bio up. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's my job. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I got so excited, man.
You had one job.
One job. And you totally redeem yourself.
That's right.
Sounds like the next.
We are coming up on our 16th cohort of Sum Gigante, and this is a life-changing operating system that we're going to install in you that will underlie everything you do in your life. Powerful program. It's based on the 12 journeys, which evolved from the book, The Giants and the Smalls. You can go to my12journeys.com. There's a little orange button at the top there. Just click that. It'll take you right to this page. It's still under construction because this guy over here is distracted by a lot of things. So he's trying to build it. But this is a program that's going to fundamentally change the way you do everything. And whether it's relationship or health or finances, we all have programs that have been placed in there, or we've adapted or adopted throughout life, that are getting in the way of us becoming our fullest potential. So this program is meant to help you rewrite those narratives, help you to become the giant that's already in there, to remember that giant and wake it up, because you've never not been the giant. You've just been playing small. And so we're going to undo everything that makes you feel small. And so in 6 weeks, our program is designed to rewrite that operating system and help you step up to a new level. And so go check it out at my12journeys.com. It's a powerful program. And again, number 16 coming up on June 14th. So that's not too far away. So grab your seat before seats run out.
And Nick has written some other stories and introduced some other characters to the book. But the only way to find out about those is to join the SG group.
In the program. 12 new characters, 12 new journeys. It's the journeys of Rit. It's powerful. So
it's powerful.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So,
Cool.
So reach out to one of us and we can get you some information on that. And in the meantime, we're going to have a show. So Nick, will you introduce our guest?
Yeah. If I'm looking over here, it's because my guest bio is there. So
Mr. Al Richards, how are you this morning? We got
morning,
Mr. Al.
Well, let's dive in. If you've ever faced turbulence in your business, your team, or even your own mindset, then today's episode is for you. We're talking about resilience, not just a buzzword, but as a blueprint for future-proofing leadership. Joining us is Francis Piche, an executive coach, conscious leadership advisor. I'll get over that. I'm not drunk. It's just slurring words. And the founder and CEO of Resilience Element. He's a best-selling author, international keynote speaker, and a certified thinking into results consultant with the Procter Gallagher Institute. Francis has helped leaders at companies like Xerox and Arrow Electronics navigate disruption with clarity and confidence. And here's something unique. You're not just learning theory today. Francis brings a world-class method that's been tested in the trenches of real corporate challenges. So get ready to unlock your resilience blueprint, become the leader of the future. Please welcome Francis Piche. It's good to have you here.
Yeah.
So good to be here. So good to be here.
Yeah.
If there was a crowd, they would have been going wild, just so you know.
Really, I think we need to get
I
that.
heard it. Yeah. It's all frequency.
Get that recording in there and be like,
Yeah. That's the next show.
I have AI help me write the guest intros, because if I wrote it, I'd be like, here's Francis Piche. He's a pretty cool guy.
That's a good one,
Which
too.
is also true.
Yeah. And then we jump in.
What else do you need?
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Man, we're focused on this show on the success principles. So in our first 320 episodes, we focused on the inner world. And so now we're focused on how do you express into your outer world and grow something new that's never been there before in your own world, because we've navigated how to elevate yourself to a point of being able to do that. It's through the root journeys. We've covered plenty on that. Now it's how do you change that outer world? How do you step into the unknown? So we're going to step through the 6 growth journeys. So 5 growth and 1 legacy journey, but we're going to start with uncertainty, because there is a lot of unknown ahead of you when you step into something you've never done before. So I'd love to hear your point of view on uncertainty. What is it to you?
Uncertainty, right? Yes.
Yep.
I'm blown away because I just came back from Joe Dispenza, and the way you describe everything, it's all about coming out of the unknown, and you're saying, describe uncertainty. I'm like, is this a dream? Is this for real? Uncertainty, how can I describe that? Well, sometimes you got to describe the opposite of it in order to understand what uncertainty is. I mean, there's different ways of explaining it. I think certainty is, for many, that would be safety, knowing what to expect, knowing what to predict.
Yeah.
Uncertainty is definitely something in the unknown. You don't know what to expect, and it brings a lot of stress for people. And I think the key is to learn how to embrace it, because, as I'm saying that for the first time, because if you're doing the same thing all the time, that means your future is predictable. That means your future is not changing. And it's a future by default, as opposed to something that you create. So if you want to create something new, you have to have uncertainty or something newer, because otherwise that's going to stay the same. That's how I would describe it right now.
Yeah, perfect. So if you don't change things, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And this pulls in that definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. I love the definition, but it's beyond that, right? We think we know what's going to happen next, so we predict.
And that's I think what the brain wants to do, right? Like it's a matter of conserving energy. It's a matter of, at the time, knowing that, there was a tiger in the bush, so we need to remember that. We need to predict the environment, predict the future, because we could be dead. So now the difference is that we don't live in that type of environment anymore, but the environment is very stressful. And so we have our old brain, the reptilian brain, that acts the same way. And so I think more and more now, especially that there are so many distractions and there's so much noise, to find a signal, we have to, maybe like you said, you focus already in the inner journey. But for me, I think the inner journey is the way to create the new environment. And then you got to also ask yourself, am I doing the same thing all over again, or am I creating something new? And ways to do something new is, for many, is to do something that's scary.
Yeah.
It's to do an action that you haven't really done for a while, but that's the only way to create something new. So it's to become happy to welcome the unknown and the uncertainty in your life, if that makes sense.
It does. Totally does. I watched a video this morning by Tom Cruise. I saved it because it was powerful. And he was talking about how do you step into the unknown. He says you create your dream first. You got to have your dream. And if you don't have that, and we'll go into that here, but the next step is to create as clearly as you can your action steps for accomplishing that dream, and then start doing. And too many of us get stuck into trying to overanalyze how we're going to get there, but we never take the action, which allows us to actually learn how to get there. Right. And so that uncertainty is if we were looking at religious views, it would be that faith step. It would be, not knowing what's going to happen next, but taking the step anyway, trusting. Right.
Absolutely. I think that, I mean, one of the components of resilience is there's 5, but the third one is certainty. And I like the fact that you bring faith. I actually told a story yesterday to someone, and to me, so the opposite of uncertainty is to create the certainty. And in that certainty in your head, that means there's going to be a path that you don't know exactly how it's going to go, right? Like your certainty might be, I'm going to be at the top of this summit of this mountain, but I still don't know exactly how the path is going to go. I cannot predict that. And if I'm predicting it, that means I've already been there. So that means it's not new. So for me, like the one thing that I worked a lot for the last couple of years is really that component of certainty, and actually grew my faith. It's since we haven't even talked since then, but I mean, I feel really connected with God. I'm reading the Bible. I never read the Bible before, and I just, I did, but not in the same extent. And so I got introduced. God was brought into my life. I watched The Chosen. I'm sure you guys have watched The Chosen.
Yeah.
So my favorite scene of that, and for people that haven't watched it, is the centurion, the top guy of the city that has seen Jesus creating a lot of different miracles, and he's transforming into having faith, because the Romans, they had many different types of gods, and then he knows that Jesus is the Lord, and so he needs to have his son to be healed, and he decides to, with the help of 2 apostles, go see Jesus. And as soon as he see him, he's like, Lord, and all the apostles like, what? Like, what this guy's converted? Like he's a Gentile. He's not even Jew. What's happening? And what's so amazing about this scene is that Gaius, the Roman emperor, or maybe not emperor, but the guy, like the top guy, says, I need you to heal my son. And he's like, well, let's go. He's like, well, no, because I know you're a Jew. It's not gonna go well, but just say the word. Just say the word, and I know it's done. And so Jesus at this point is like looking at the guys like, did you guys hear this guy? He's just saying, just say the word, and he has the faith that it's already done. This guy's not even a Jew. He's like a Gentile. This is ultimate faith. And so his answer to the Roman after is saying, just go. It will be done according to your belief. And so what I found really amazing in that is that you can have certain, like, do you have certainty a little bit, or full on, or so like you needed to have a miracle? And the Roman is full on certain that this is done. So he's not going to his house, checking if his son is healed or not. He's walking towards the house, stops at different places, buy things to celebrate, arrives home, and then the wife says, you won't believe what happened. He's like, I know. So this level of certainty, I asked myself, do I have this level of certainty? Because according to Jesus, it will be done according to your belief. So, and if you believe it's true, and I do, then it's creating that, nurturing that, building it. And sometimes we fall back to the default system. We forget that life is miraculous, that all possibilities exist, which I can talk about this thing too. But having this faith is such a good anchor. And it's also knowing that in that faith, the path might be uncertain. And that's okay. I was telling my wife this morning, there's something that happened that we were hearing a story. But anyway, the timeline was not the one that the person wanted. Oh, that's it. That was about my movie. These people that are creating a vision board and everything, they had a dream and an objective of a $1 million. And so when they created like the whole software to do it, they launched it, they made about $750,000, which was amazing. They had so many problems along the way, mortgage a house, name it. Now they got the money, but the bank held it for 6 months. Can you imagine? Like you're thinking like, oh, I just made it. Like, this is amazing. I have my goal. Great. The bank's like, no, I'm keeping it for 6 months because it's weird. Like, where's that money coming from? And they needed to pay a lot of different things, and everything was hinged on that. Now, what happened after 6 months? They released the fund, but apparently the exchange rate, because this is an Australian company, allowed them to have $250,000 more money in their pocket. So they made their $1 million. But so this is where I'm saying is like, and they kept looking at their vision and knowing that it's true. So you can have this faith that this is the objective that I have. And then on paper, you can say, well, it's not happening. It's actually so worse. Like I don't have the money. I might not have it, that this is bad. And now you're discouraged, and you might even let go and give up. But the point is that God knows what's the best timing. It's like, I know. You want your $1 million, you're going to get it, but we're just going to hold it for 6 months. So I think there's so many lessons in that if that happens in your life and you have a challenge, and I ask myself, I guess I'm going to be patient. This is not my timeline. It's God's timeline.
Yeah.
All I need to do is have faith. It's going to be done according to your beliefs. So if you have a storm, you're like, maybe that saved my life. I don't know. Like, there's things that I needed to be here instead of, there's so many things that could happen.
Yeah.
Right? What's interesting behind that too is I hear, that the faith part, the faith component, I think is huge. Inside of that, and I don't know if you touched on it exactly, but this is what I heard, Francis. So I'm taking your words, I'm spinning it just a little bit. But this came up, I think last episode that we did, and there's a quote, and it says, "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too," which is what I'm hearing of stuff that can't be seen. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream, you can do. Begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. That's W.H. Murray. Yeah. And when you start forward in that into the uncertainty and commit to it, the possibilities that can come in are way more than what you thought you could control and hold on to and see. As you step through that, so much stuff comes in. It's incredible.
Yeah, and when you say control, for me, when you want to control, that implies that you think that you're the only one knowing how to do it, and that if it's not controlled by your actions, then it's not happening. So there's kind of a lack of faith in that. There's a lack of knowing that it's going to happen, right? Yeah. I mean, the wind blows. We don't control the wind, and it's a good thing. Imagine like you just today I'm walking. It's going to go north. Because I need to have a little bit of push when I'm going on my bike. I mean, there's like things that like it would be insane to try to control all the time. And I guess it's just like somebody mentioned, uncertainty is fear. Yes, there's fear. And because of fear, we want to be safe. And because we want to be safe, we want to predict, we want to know where it's going to go. And the more and more that I'm looking at life is so magical when we're able to surrender to what's in front of us, and still maintain that core faith inside our heart to go and still go, even if there's some obstacles on the way.
Yeah, that word that you keep pulling up, prediction. The definition is before words. So before we speak it, we predict it, we play it out. And what we're playing out is often from what has happened. So there's a thing called remembered presence. So when we get into the present, we predict the future. We want to be as present as possible to predict that future. But too many of us are stuck in our remembered present. So we pull everything that's ever happened into the present moment and then predict from that rather than full presence. And then we speak it. So now it's words and it's out in the world. And now it's no longer a prediction. Now it's a dictation, and it's getting created. It's the first step in creation is the word, right? And so, but we tend to repeat and recreate what has been in the past rather than fully starting out. Like Ryan said, when you get into that space that you really have all possibility in front of you, and then you keep speaking into it the same things you've always done, then it's like you just get stuck in a cycle and a loop of just recreating and reliving the same things over and over.
Yeah, and I want to go to possibilities. It's just like it's an intuition I just got. That's something that I got. It clicked. Like I mentioned, I went to this beautiful retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've done a lot of work on the mind myself with thinking into results, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and I've heard we hear it from. If people are familiar with Landmark, we use the word possibility. And we say that all possibilities exist. And in my mind, it was more conscious than subconscious. I understood, I can see that, you can do pretty much everything except maybe this, except maybe that. But so a new distinction that I got from all possibilities is that, and it's actually even going with God itself when they say, we are eternal beings. So if you're thinking about the concept of eternity, that means that in eternity, the time is infinite, right? So if you have it, actually the time is now. So in that time of being eternal, you have all of the time in the world to create all experiences. If you had all the time in the world, you wouldn't be able to create all sorts of experience because you have all the time. So that's why all possibilities exist, because in eternity, the time is forever. So now you have, so there is a frequency that exists of a possibility of you doing anything you want. So because if we're really believing that we're eternal beings and we're having this human experience, and that's just one little thing, we can get to create everything that we want. And it makes sense, because if you're looking at just the invention of the cell phone was already invented, but nobody tuned in to the frequency. And then when the person tuned in to, this is how you're going to do it, the idea came in, and then the phone was on.
Yeah.
So that frequency already exists somewhere, but we're just not aware of it. And especially when they say that we only see 1% of the reality. I mean, we're like so blind. We don't even know. It's crazy.
Wow.
Like in the terms of information. And then when you go into the quantum and they say, you look at the particle and it's mostly just empty space. And that's pretty much everything that's what it is. You're looking at the Wi-Fi. What's just what's happening at the moment with this stream. I mean, this is unbelievable. Like you hear me, you see colors. I hear your tone. I feel like next to you. Other people join in. They're all on that same frequency. We're more than 3 people at the same time right now. And people will be able to see it after. This is like, I'm in Florida. You guys, like, this is amazing. I love it. I get excited with this, but
So I'm gonna pull in now the journey of abundance, because the journey of abundance is where now you have all possibility, and all possibility exists now. So uncertainty. And then you go into the journey of abundance, and the resources that you need to create anything you can imagine are there. I'm going to drop a quote. Thomas Monson said this. I think it's just so powerful. This quote is that God left us the world unfinished for man to work his skill upon, right? Let me just pull it up here. He left the electricity in the cloud, the oil in the earth. He left the rivers unbridged, the forests unfelled, and the cities unbuilt. God gives to man the challenge of raw materials, not the ease of unfinished things. He leaves the picture unpainted and the music unsung and the problems unsolved, that man might know the joys and glories of creation. And one of when I went through my course with Richard Paul Evans, and when I was creating this book, he said chaos is the mine of creation. And I didn't fully get it at the time. I'm like, that seems weird. Okay, we'll step into it. But everything is chaos. It will return to the chaos. Everything we create becomes the chaos. All creation leads to creation. Everything that it was just in a different form. And so when you get into the quantum physics of it, you really look at energy really isn't created or destroyed. It's only transformed from one form to another. And so when we can see that all the raw materials are there, every new creation becomes the raw material of another creation. Everything that is already existed, just not the form you see it in. It really lends to the playground of you have everything you need to create anything you can imagine already here. Can you speak to that?
Well, I was thinking you step on the shoulders of giants, right? Like everything was created by other people in past generations, and I feel like we are such in a beautiful time in history to awaken more spiritually and remember who we really are. And I have so much gratitude about. Here's something I'm going to say, and I went to a ceremony. It was called peyote, but the point is that this shaman was saying, "You are the ancestors," and then it like that was something I never thought of, but it's true. Like all of us here, we are ancestors of future generations, and I never thought that way. It's almost like, I'm just at the end. I'm at the end, and I get all the stuff from people before me. But we are already ancestors of the future.
Wow.
So we have a responsibility to create and really do good for the future generations. And I don't know, I just went on a tangent, but
like, I like that. I'm going to pull it in because I saw another video this morning. I get doom scrolling on TikTok, but this one was cool. Right. But it was like, which person had it the worst? And you look at our ancestors, and there's the guy that's sitting there eating bugs, right? Barefoot, no clothing, sitting there eating bugs just to make it through the night. That guy laid the foundation for me to be here today.
Yeah.
Right. And if he hadn't eaten bugs back then, I wouldn't even be here today.
Yeah. And so when you think about what they had to do in order for us to have a good life, we have this same responsibility for the next one. And I think especially I'm saying hi to Candace. I saw her comments, my adopted son. So hello. Lots
Candace
of hearts.
Great. She's opened my mind up so much in the last few weeks.
And that's the reason why, like we anyway, so many things to say. I think that, we're in this place and time where there's a lot of stress for people, uncertainty. They don't know how to deal with all the noise and the signal. And I'm sure that Candace is going to love that. I think one of the signal is God, like that foundation of peace, of love, to remember who we are. And I think that this is a great way to go through the uncertainties, going back to the faith and know that we're taken care of. And that takes a leap of faith, really. Sometimes to just say, it's scary right now. I don't know where my life is going, but I'm still going to believe. I'm still going to believe that it's going to be good. And maintaining that equanimity in that storm and still have faith and love. And I have actually, people, if you don't know Candace has helped me many times to just actually not get triggered about some of the stuff that was happening in my life. And just say, and there was a great book, actually, you can see it right here, Let Them, by Mel Robbins. And it's so good because, when you start to realize that creation, the real creation comes from you, no matter what's happening on the outside, no matter who is on the outside. And so,
Francis, I'm not blowing kisses at you. I see my girlfriend.
I was wondering. I got distracted a little bit. I like it.
I'm all,
I'm like, this is a new show.
You're like, this is a little weird. I'm feeling weird, guys. Is this normal? Let's jump into vision real quick, okay? Because vision is our third journey of the growth journeys. And hope theory says that when you have a clear vision of the future, it generates hope. So you know the future is going to be brighter. You know you're the one that's going to create it, and you'll overcome any obstacle to make it a reality. And we've had people on our show. Catherine Lee was phenomenal. She said she creates images and memories of things yet to be. So they haven't happened yet, but she's got memories of it. I look at Lydia Nibley's statement of pre-membering. So before it is, you have a pre-memory of it. And I've had visions come about where they've been realized in the world and they've been absolutely clear. And others where it was just kind of a vague statement of, I think I'm going to do this. And then it is, and so I'm wondering your view on vision. How clear does it need to be? How do you vision? Let's talk about you personally. How do you vision? And what have you found to be useful in the journey of visioning so that you can start bringing those dreams to reality?
Brilliant question. And I think I have so much more wisdom now after all these years. Because like I said, I work for the Thinking into Results program. So what it helped me is really understand the mind, how the conscious mind works, how the subconscious mind works, the paradigm, how to transcend them, how to use your mental faculties and name it. So that was kind of a big part of the foundation. And before that, with Resilience Element, that was some sort of a vision. And I can now think about how it came to fruition. And I know you've done the exercise, my friend. And it was thanks to my coach that said, finding the clarity, which was, you imagine that I give you the exercise of doing nothing for 3 days.
Yep.
You can't journal. You can't, there's no TV, no social media. You restrict the minimum to maybe meditation, maybe seeing your friends. And then
it was much harder than I had anticipated, by the way.
Right?
And I thought, 3 days, I got this.
Easy.
And then on top of it, you're left with the question that is kind of a mic drop on you in your heart is like, okay, so I want you to go 5 years from now and write this. And my coach, Gary Mahler, said, you write, this is the day that I die. What are you going to do in between? And he said, I don't want the answer.
There was American Pie.
The what?
This will be the day that I die.
Bye, that's a different thing. So it was so intense because, I had so many great ideas, and like to answer your question about the vision and everything, so I couldn't journal, but I was in my heart because now I thought, what is really important to me? Who do I want to become? Who do I want to be with? And Resilience Element was created thanks to this challenge. And Resilience Element, to talk about leadership or talk about goal attainment, there's 5 components. And the first one is clarity. And this exercise really helps anyone that wants to do this gain clarity about what really matters. And the clarity is coming from your heart when time is exposed like that. And you're like, hey, you only have 5 years to live. And the reality is we don't know how much time we have to live. That could be my last show. I don't know. But, and we take it for granted, and it's great to do an exercise like that, because if really you had 5 years, would you do the things that you're doing right now? Would you say yes to all sorts of different things, or would you say no to others? Are you doing what leads to your mission and your vision, or it's just a distraction? And so that gave me this foundation of, okay, it's clear. And in the vision, and I will answer your question, all of it, that the second part is the conviction. Does that really matter to you? Like, is that just a hope or a wish, or is that something that's coming from your heart and you really want to make it happen? And for, single mothers, that could be, I want my kids to thrive and stop surviving, and I want to give them like whatever it is, but it's coming from their heart and they'll do anything. Especially moms, they're like the ocean, the most powerful, Mother Nature, like most powerful thing on earth. And so now to go back to the vision again, one thing that I've learned is it's very hard to create a vision that's clear when you're stressed and when you're survival. So what's required is to find a way to relax your nervous system. Find a way. You could be doing meditation, you could be doing breath work, you can do exercise. There's so many things that can help you, because if you're in survival, you're narrow focus. It's not time to dream, it's time to survive. So the vision, in order to be clear and get all these downloads, you got to find a way to relax and appreciate life as much as possible and be in your heart. And that might be to, for some, even go to church or do an act of kindness, tell someone you love them, whatever it is. But you have to go back to your heart, and you have to be in a place where you feel more safe.
Yeah.
And from that, and I know it could be difficult for many people. I'm still going, increasing my finance, abundance and all that. And I've had big debt amounts, and it's hard at times to kind of put that on the side. But nothing's going to change until we're able to relax. Nothing's going to change until we believe with certainty that there's a brighter future. And I know that, again, it's hard when you're stressed and everything, but if we don't find a way to de-stress, we're not going to get these ideas, that creative ideas that will help us to go out to be better. And we have to believe that we're eternal. We have to believe that we're sons of gods. And why would somebody deserve more than me? I am deserving.
Yeah.
I am ready and worthy of abundance. I am deserving of all the beautiful things. And if we have that as your foundation, as an affirmation, as something you live from, you can do anything.
Yeah, that worthiness is such a big thing. And I think we'll pull all this together, because we're going to go into surrender next, which is the next journey, which is rendering over. But that worthiness is not earned. It's not negotiable. It just is. It's one of those things that just is. Your worth is innate. It's God-given, right? So that survival mode, though, like you said, the brain is very survival. It's very logistical, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, and I saw this question, like, how do you, like, and I get it, like, it's very paralyzing. When your survival can be paralyzing, how do you get out of that space? I mean, this is the key. So here's something that I can say is, when you stay stressed, can we agree it's not going to work? Like, at the end of the day, I haven't seen anyone being so stressed and creating a lot of abundance or great things in their life.
Yeah.
So if we know that, it's almost like a sell that I'm doing. Like, now that you know that, would you agree that it's not a good thing to do, and that you have to choose to believe in you? No, and I know the external is really bad and it's very stressful and it's paralyzing. But the point is if we just agree of what we said before, the stress is not going to bring anything. It could be very harmful for your body, harmful for your relationships around you. So if we can get that, and really, stress is what? The stress is a stressful thought. So if you all of a sudden can tell yourself, I am capable of whatever I want to create, then all the stress could be dissolved.
Or I am deserving, right?
Yeah.
I am
Anything
deserving.
like that.
And the beauty is that we can find an evidence of pretty much a lot of different things that people were able to transcend, and it would be against all the odds. Either physically, they had cancer, they survived, they healed. People that had bankruptcies, and they were able to create an amazing business. You look at Mel Robbins' Let Them book, for example. She said that she had, I think, $800,000 of that, and now she's speaking all around the world. It's almost like the challenges that we had is what creates us as the most amazing, humble human being to help others. So if you see that as, hey, it's just part of the process, and I am deserving, I'm deserving of love, I'm deserving of the best things in life. So now I can relax a little bit because other people were able to do it. So I know it's difficult, but maybe, can I start with 5 minutes? Can I just start with 5 minutes of relax? Maybe I can go walk in the wood. It doesn't cost anything. Maybe I can close my eyes for 5 minutes, but I just need to start to envision being in a better space. And that's what is the remembering, whatever, how you called it. But that's really starting to become someone new. Because if you stay the same, if you stay stressful, you're going to still have the same predictable future. But if you start to create someone new, because you don't want to be there, so smile a little bit more. And I know it's difficult, but the point is if you know that you don't change, then nothing's changing. So maybe being grateful about the fact that you can see this right now, that you can hear, that you can walk. I mean, the week that I just mentioned, Joe Dispenza is healing people with so many chronic diseases. I met a guy, he doesn't have saliva.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine? Like, I just thought, like, every time he has his water bottle, and he needs to make sure that he's choosing food that he can swallow.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's daily. That's one thing.
Holy
So
cow.
can we be grateful that we have saliva just to eat and digest? That's some people are going through things. It's unbelievable, and
Yeah.
we can find something that we can be grateful for.
I like that, man. Okay. So we're going to hit these other two journeys as a pair, the journey of surrender and the journey of nurture, because I think they tie together, because surrender isn't not doing. And one of the quotes I use a lot is Charles Darwin's quote. It's not the survival of the fittest or the most intelligent. And people have different views on him, but listen to this quote. It's powerful. It's the most adaptable to change. And the only way to really step into your dream and vision is to step. I'm going to pull in the kind of the narratives that I've been using lately of an oak tree lays 10,000 seeds a year and only one becomes an oak tree. Sea turtles lay over 1,000 eggs in their lifetime. Only one makes it to adulthood. Dyson created 5,000 plus vacuums that didn't suck before he found one that did. Right. So it's like all of these things are a repetition, and failure is part of that process of surrendering and not knowing fully the pathway that's going to appear for your dream to be realized, but willing to have 10,000 failures, 1,000 failures, 5,000 failures to lead you to your creation. There's a research study that was done on slime mold. We talk about that pretty consistently, that when slime mold, when they put the oats on the map for the Tokyo subway system, slime mold went out in all directions. And then as soon as it found the oats, it created its pathway back. And the pathway it created was actually as efficient or more efficient than the subway system that was created for Tokyo, which took decades to create. And slime mold did it in a short period by going in all directions, finding the pathway and narrowing back to putting its energy in those pathways. So I would love your take on surrender and also nurture, which to me is the self-care, the creation care, the others care, and the small steps that lead to giant results. Can you kind of incorporate all those?
Yeah, I think the way that I look at it, there's a great book called The Surrender Experiment for anyone that wants to read something great about surrendering.
Fantastic book.
It's so cool. Surrendering to me as a different connotation. I think right now as I'm speaking, I know that I'm not surrendering when I'm trying to force the outcome. So if I feel that, and really at the end of it, it feels like the belief underneath that is I'm not going to be able to do that. So now I'm afraid I'm not going to do that. I might be thinking that I'm not able to do that. So now I'm starting to stress a little bit. I'm starting to force the matter, and I'm not surrendering to be maybe patient.
Or if I don't do something, nothing will happen.
Exactly. So,
right.
And surrendering to me is you do whatever you commit to the process. And the purpose of a goal is not to achieve it. The purpose of a goal is to grow. So if you just treat it as having fun in a journey, and I'm going to commit to whatever the actions I need to take. So we're talking about I'm helping leaders, I'm helping entrepreneurs and business owners. So like, what are the things that you need to just focus on and commit to? Do that. And you don't need to do more than that, and trust the process. It's like the farmers that plants the seed. He's not going to wake up every day and say, "Are you growing yet? Are you growing yet? Where are you?"
You mean that's not what you do?
Yeah.
I've been in my garden like this.
Yeah. What are you doing? And then start to curse the sun. Son, you should be there now. Like, it's been 2 days I haven't seen you. I think it's not going to work. And then nature is like, hey, who are you? Like, we've got this. Like, we don't need you. And so there's like that. And
look at this guy.
Yeah. Right? and Bob Proctor has a great quote. He says, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. So just the fact that the seed is in the ground and you don't see the results yet, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just needs to be nurtured. It needs to be nurtured with love. And now I'm thinking about Candace when she said, a relationship is a garden. You need to put like water to it. You need to nurture it. I'm listening to you, Candace. So the surrendering is that, can you do better than your best? You planted the seed, you put the water, you had good intentions with it. now relax. And I know it's easier said than done, but the point is that I've also, by my own experience, anytime I forced the matter, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Right. Yeah. It didn't
So
materialize, right?
it didn't materialize. So forcing the matter doesn't help, or if it does, it's only going to be temporary.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in sales and you try to shove the sale in the face of the other person, they might buy, but are they going to buy again? Maybe not. So
Yeah.
it doesn't work. So and I think that once we start to open our heart, and you know, if it's in sales, like you really doing it for the best interest of the person, it's an invitation. That's it. If they say yes, that's great, because that's going to help them. Maybe they're not ready. Maybe it's a no and it's not yet.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of feel more in love with life, and surrender to the process. You just do commit to the process, surrender to the results. It's going to happen, and have faith with certainty. And then nurture your good vibes, nurture your activities, making sure that what you need to do, you still do it, even if you haven't seen the results yet. So something that I shared to my clients on Friday is that there's two learning curves that are very important to know, because once you know them, it helps you to surrender to the results a lot more. And one is exponential. So that means it goes like this, and then it shoots out, right? But that journey here, no fun, because there's no results yet. And then you can have two people. There's a great book called The Slight Edge, I think, and they were comparing two curves. One, let's say, wants to go to the gym, goes to the gym, wants to have a better body, and the other one doesn't go to the gym and probably eats donuts, whatever. And so for maybe 2 or 3 months, you look at their body and it's pretty much the same. So the guy that eats the donut all the time can start to laugh at his friend and say, look at you. You're waking up at 6 a.m. every day, and look at your body. I don't even do that. I eat my donut and I'm fine. But do it for a year. Oh, we're going to see a big difference in their bodies. And then bam, the exponential curve is going to start to happen, which means that now if we're in that zone of there's nothing that's happening, that we surrender to that, and we just keep on nurturing our activities, it's going to happen. So that's good to know. The other one is logarithmic law, which means that now it jumps, like you have a breakthrough right away, but then there's also that linear line. So now you can get discouraged after. You're like, what happened? I got this breakthrough and now I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Nothing is happening, but you just might be on that curve. It's logarithmic, and then you can go again either on logarithmic or you're going to go exponential. And I think that just to know that helps us to just be more patient.
Yeah.
And just kind of say, hey, I'm planting my seed. That's all I need to worry about. I have my faith. I am worthy. I'm deserving of it. And here you go.
To give a real world example, since the beginning of the year, I've lost 48 pounds, 40. So I don't know. It's a lot. Yeah. But every day, like I was getting on the scale, like almost every day. Okay. And I actually had a coach that was like, okay, no, how about every week? And don't get discouraged at the results, because every day I'd be like, man, it's not moving. It's not moving. It would go, I'd have these little drops and stuff like that. But then there would be a week where almost nothing. And I'd be like, if that was how I was measuring my success, I would have given up, thrown my hands in the air and said, okay, I'm done. That's it. It's not working, yada, yada. But what was happening is my body was getting used to the new change and the new diet and the growth that was really happening. And my habits were building. And over time, what happened is it would go down, level out, sometimes go up a little, down, level out, go up a little, down a little. But over time, went from 250 pounds to, what did I lose? 42 pounds, 42 pounds to 208 as of this morning.
Wow. Congratulations, my friend.
And thank you. So but if I would have been trying to like go off of the results, it's like staring at those seeds, where we're like, grow, it was so like incremental, just little bits at a time. But looking back, we're at 5 months, a little over 5.5 months in to the year, and I've lost 42 pounds.
Yeah.
And so I would have given up. If I would have looked at the results day to day, I would have been like, it's not working. It's not fast enough. I look back at just a few months and it's like, huge
And I saw a
transformation.
comment of Candace about love and self-love, and I'm thinking in your story, I think it helps to have more self-love for ourselves. And really, when you think about the fact that everything is energy, really, when you look at the micros, everything is energy, and that's why you can feel someone that enters a room with good or bad energy. So I'm looking at what you did. If you were frustrated, that's bad energy. That's bad energy inside your body, and that has an actual effect of your stress, of your health, everything, and maybe stopping to be committed to your goal. Imagine. So having a better energy and surrendering and having self-love, now you're radiating something entirely different. And I think that's what helps to actually create our goals, when we just maintain that level of excitement, of joy, of self-love. It reflects everywhere else, and now we're becoming a magnet. People want to be with us.
Yeah, this is where the surrender. I think the hardest part is we want to control the output. We want to control the input. We've got our ideals about how it should go, and then when it doesn't go the way we idealized, then we suffer and we create more challenges. But it's because of our control that a lot of times it doesn't idealize. But we don't realize that because we think we got to be doing something. And so surrender is really just lending over to the way it needs to go. Rather than, and that might be God's way, your way, the creation's way of coming about. Just letting go of the how. Jen Walter, who went through our program, called it the how hole. You get stuck in the how hole of how your dream's going to come about. And then the other part there is, we just so much want to dictate, the timing of it and the method of it. And what I keep hearing over and over is, you don't know how it's going to come about. You don't know when it's going to come about. Your job is to hold the dream and act on whatever intuits or comes to you around that creation. Do you agree with that, or is there a differing view?
100%. And going back to, let's say, sales or any business owners or entrepreneurs, the way I look at it is, if you knew that your goal was already accomplished, it's already done, who would you be? Who would you be in that journey? And to me, if my quota is already done, then I would have so much fun. I would just, like, probably the way that I'm dealing with my people, like, one, I'm not attached to the outcome. It's already done. Now I might be more curious. I want to find out if I can help you. And if I don't help you, then I will find somebody that will. So there's like so much more fun and joy and relax and detachment. And the reality is that's who we need to be. We don't need, so it's kind of a, oh yeah, but I don't have it yet. But if I had it, then I would be like that. And if I'm like that, then I would create that.
Yeah.
So the choice is really to be that first now, because by assuming that it's already done, you will, it's almost going back to what I said. If you say I'm stressed and this is paralyzing, well, you still have the choice, because if you stay in that choice, then nothing's going to change. So who would you be if you knew that you're not paralyzed, you're not in fear, that everything is solved and you're living a good life? Well, I would smile more. I would probably I would sleep better.
Yeah.
Sleep better. How could more sleep help our life? There's so much that happens when we are choosing, and you can say even commit to be someone new now.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So if I stayed the same up here and the same in here as the 250-pound version of myself, I would still be that. What I did is I said, I have a goal of 190. I'm going to be the 190 version now and now and now. And as I committed to that, it wasn't hard for me. I mean, there's days where, like, okay, well, there's some discipline over desire, but I wanted to be the 190-pound version of me more than I wanted to be the 250-pound version of myself.
Exactly. Conviction.
Yes. And then, so that's how I showed up every day. That's how I continue to show up.
Yeah. Your decisions are very different, right? You're not making a 190-pound guy doesn't make the same food decision as a 250. And that means that you're already this, like, you chose to be that first. You're not waiting, oh, I'm going to make these decisions once I'm at 190. No, you're even if you're at 250, you're making the decision of a 190, and you become that 190 because of the decisions that you made, as if you're already it. And that's for weight. So what happens in business? What happens in relationship? I can hear
same thing. Yeah. It's just, you could plug and play, like, it's just take that mindset, plug it over here. How do I want to show up in a relationship? How do I want to show up in my business? How do I want to show up with friends, family? In every aspect of my life, I can do the exact same thing and be that version and see what shows up in the world. It's pretty sick when you start playing life that way.
And I hear Candace saying, because she told me, like, thank you, Candace. Like, if you would need her, reach out to Candace. She's an amazing woman. She's great, and a program actually called the Ambassadors of Compassion for Kids, the Resiliency. It's so good. Research that. So in that version that you're talking about, many times I think when we were a victim, we blamed things, the outside. We were waiting for somebody else to fill our cup. But really, when, like you said, like, who do I need to be if, I'm in a great relationship? A great relationship starts with your relationship with yourself and giving yourself more love than anyone else.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to be a race you're never going to win. And I've learned, and it was difficult, because sometimes you can say it's not fair. That's really not good what happened to me. And once you start to realize that actually they could be playing, there are characters in your life, so that through that challenge, you realize who you really are, and that you realize that you're the one that needs to love yourself. You're the one that needs to let me be happy and not wait for anything or anyone to help me become who I need to become. And so I think that what I've learned over the years is that I've always thought that I needed to have something in order to do something and then be happy. And it's the other way around. The be do have, I gotta test myself. Who do I need to be today, so that I create some sort of behavior, actions, habits that will lead to the life that I want. And that's really just it.
Yeah. It's self-leadership is what it is. So when you can lead from here out, then you can lead the outside world too. But this is a completely different topic, but in relationship too, it's the same thing. Is if each person is self-leading, then they can come together in a partnership where there's growth and compassion and love and expansion. But if one is leading, self-leading, and the other is not, then it can create a disconnect there. So it really has to be, you walk alongside each other. That's business relationships, that's personal relationships, that's everything. So before we run out of time, I want to hit the last journey here, the legacy journey, which is Legatia, the gift by Will. And we want to give our gift to the world. Steve Chandler talked about, don't wait till you're dead to give that gift to the world. And there's a distinction between legacy and purpose. And I think people get them mixed up, that they think purpose is what we're after, but legacy is actually our unique ability. And maybe you've got a view on this, our ability or our gift, our talent that we get to share with the world that is unique to us, that nobody else has. And purpose might be the many ways that we share that with the world. What are your thoughts on that?
I like that. Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's a great way to look at it. Absolutely. I think we were all born with gifts and talents that were so unique to us that this is what we need to nurture. And there's a stat that I think I will end up with, that is, I researched one day, what are the odds for us to be alive? I don't know if you guys ever know that. So we have, based on, the sperm and the like, all that happens with, it's one chance out of 400 trillion. That's the chance to be alive, which means that it's actually 1,000 times faster to win the lottery. 1,000 times faster to win the lottery. And so if that's the case, do you think that God that gave you this chance, and you are kind of looking at what everyone's doing, and you're like, I should probably do this, I should probably do this, and the God is like, no, I made you, you're like, I gave you that chance. Like,
Why are you trying to be
so
like
unique.
Katy Perry, dude? Right?
You're so unique. Please do what you were meant to be. Like, no, like 1 out of 400 trillion. Are you kidding me? And
Yeah.
so that's why I think, yes, use your gift. And I think the way to use it, because sometimes people, I don't know what my gifts are. You can take a look first, I think, at the places where you find joy when you're doing it, and maybe some of the comments, and when people say you're always so good at, well, that's a little hint,
Yeah.
and you'll get to discover. I don't think it would be nice that they drop exactly, hey, this is what you need to do, and you know it already. I mean, the fun is in the discovery. So if we know that, then let's enjoy life as much as possible to find it and iterate it and change it and reinforce it and have fun and leave a legacy.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, Pablo Picasso, I think it was him that said the purpose of life is to find your gift, or the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose is to give it away. And I've heard quite a few people say, I don't know what my gift is. I can't see it. And like you just said, start noticing the breadcrumbs. When people say things, hey, you're really good at that, and you notice that you consistently do that, that might be an indication of your gift, your unique way of making a ripple in the world.
You are the gift. Exactly. Boom.
Yeah, I like that. Ryan, final thoughts here as we wrap up.
Thank you guys for inviting me. It's such a beautiful place. I saw it 101 11. Yes. Yeah. And I think, to go back to leaders and future proof, the future proof to me is really starting to be who you need to be now, and don't wait for the future to that the future creates you. You create your own future and you lead yourself. So that's why the first leader is you. Yeah. And once you know how to learn to lead yourself, you can lead others. And I think the purpose of life is really to have fun and to help others in the journey, whatever your gifts are. And so thank you so much, guys. Great show. I can just imagine the graphic effects in 2 years from now. Again, we're going to be live somewhere, maybe in this. I don't know what the technology is going to be, but it's going to be a whole different.
It's going to be good, man. We'll be 3D in front of each other.
Yeah.
Just teleport on over.
Yeah.
You'll do the fist bump and you'll feel it. You're like, ow.
Yeah. Little haptics, dudes. Yeah. Ryan, final thoughts from you, man.
Yeah, if you can't feel it, maybe you can't feel, because Francis is one of the most genuine human beings that you'll ever meet. I got the opportunity to meet him down in Arizona and give this man a hug and tell him I love him. And, even though some time has gone past since we've seen each other, my heart is full for this human being that continues to be that type of a person. He's grown, he's shifted, he's changed. And the man that I knew 2 years ago isn't that same man, but he also is. He's a powerful coach, mentor, and human being that will transform your life and help you to be able to see what he sees in you already. This guy is funny, he's smart, he's intelligent, he is love. Find him, whatever you can do to get around him, because he will make a giant impact in your world. He's made a giant impact in my life. So thanks, brother. I appreciate you so much.
Man, thank you. I love you. Thank you. And thank you both. Yeah. That's you make my month. You make my and plus, so thank you. And we know we always have fun, so you can't screw it up, like Candace said. And thank you, brother Ryan the Lion. You're amazing, man, and I love you. And thank you, Nicholas.
You're welcome. As we wrap up here, just one more reminder: go check out my12journeys.com. Sum Gigante. If you want to become a giant like Francis Piche, this will be your foundation to help you do that. So we invite you to come back over to my12journeys.com. If it speaks to you to be a part of that next cohort, please do that. I think the greatest takeaway I have from you, Francis, is when you had me do that 3-day program and really look at those questions, that became part of our program. We started, sharing that with people, is do what we did. is slow down and just eliminate social media contact with the world and slow down with these questions. I had realizations that what was more important to me than accomplishments was the ripple and impact that I would have in the world. And so I started looking at, how can I impact somebody's life today? How can I take, instead of trying to go for these big goals with the Tribe of Giants, how can we impact one person today and have that ripple out? And so my focus has become more on that. Our programs are designed around that. How can we impact you? And then who knows where your ripple's going to go?
See, Francis, he made a
Wow.
giant ripple.
Yeah. And I remember I was in Mexico that time. I remember. Well, thank you for sharing that. Like, that proves that, and thank you to Gary that first gave me this exercise.
Yeah.
It changed, like, that's resilience element. It's so powerful. So I'm glad that it worked out, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation and hug you in person.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So we will do that. For everybody that's watching, thank you so much. You make this show what it is. Your comments, your sharing, you're being a part of this community. Our goal is to help you be a giant. Our hope is that you'll take this video and find somebody that could use this message today and share it with them and tell them why they should listen to it. Help them to subscribe to our channel on Wake Up with Giants TV on YouTube. I think we're at 800 subscribers over 4 years. It's not a ton, but we've had a huge impact. And so we could use more. Yeah.
Exponential.
Taking off like an albatross, right? Just run across that floppy beach. One day we'll take off. But thank you for being a part of it. We love you. We will see you in the next episode. Go make it a giant day.
Love you too.
If I can find the outro video. Boom.